Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. This is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner. There's Corey Tackman. Corey, you had a down-to-the-wire former mid-state rivalry matchup from the Nest yesterday. Lay it all out. What the heck happened?
Well, there was a fun night in two basketball games, as a matter of fact, because the JV game between Aitkin and Staples-Motley went to overtime. The Gobblers won it 43-41, I believe was the final in overtime in that JV game. And then the varsity game came right down to it, 57-55. Aitkin gets the sweep, I guess you would say, for the night in that varsity game. Staples-Motley had a look at it at the end. A long three from the wing that would have given them the W, but it didn't fall. And Aitkin went on the road, guys. That's a nice win for the Gobblers. They're a nice team. I was impressed by them. They got a big 6'9" kid. They've got good athletes. They've got good shooters. They can do some stuff, as the saying would go. For Staples-Motley, I think if you held their feet to the fire, they probably wouldn't have been the most impressed with their just like overall output for the night. But really, this is the honest to goodness truth. And this is what happens, CJ, as you know, in these early season games. It was game 4. The ball just didn't go through the hoop. And if the ball goes through the hoop, in particular, I'm thinking about a bunch of elbow jumpers that didn't go in. That was just what Aitkin allowed Staples-Motley to shoot all night. And if they would have gone in, it changed the game completely. They didn't, and Aitkin was able to pull out the victory because of it. So that's how it goes. They got the shots they were looking for. They didn't go in. That's basketball. There's no really other kind of a better way to say it. There are probably some other things that they're going to practice here today would be my guess, but it's whatever. It was game 4. You don't like to learn your lesson. Everybody likes a life lesson until you have to learn one yourself. We only like life lessons for other people. But, you know, they had to learn a little bit of a lesson and now come back and fire on all cylinders and get ready for the next one.
Very close game, very a fun watch. I was able to catch the end of it on 98.5 FM and 1430 KNSP fan. And also, I caught the final play on YouTube, on the Radio-Wadena YouTube page, which if you're watching the Morning Sports Desk on YouTube, which you should, you're there. You just find it. You can go back and listen to Corey's call of the game. I thought, Corey, your very first attempt doing a video broadcast, a video call of a game, that we were going to get a buzzer beater shot for Staples-Motley to win the game, and we were going to clip that on Facebook, and it was going to do numbers because that would have been really, really cool. And, you know, so is life. It doesn't quite work out that way, but this is just a reminder to go watch the games on YouTube, and if we have a call that we really like, we're going to share it with you. So
my heart's ready to go viral. So come on now, let's make this happen.
Let's make Corey the new Hawk Tua girl in terms of
no, not that. Why was that your example?
I think you're gonna launch a meme coin about 6 months in and then cash out and disappear off the face of the earth.
I know, but I don't want to be associated with Hawk Tua. The reason for it or her just in general.
How about the Cash Me Outside girl? You can start a rap career after that.
Yes, that I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Good, we're in. I had a game, Pelican Rapids versus Wadena-Deer Creek on KW80 and the Hubbard Radio-Wadena YouTube page. Pelican Rapids, the number 1 team in Class A, talking with head coach Gullingsrud before the game. I was like, you guys, how many did you graduate? He's like, graduate a couple. We're returning 4 starters from last year.
Helpful.
Very helpful. We mentioned all the stuff. They're the number 1 team in Class A. They would probably be one of the top teams in AA if they were still there. And they're just a very, very excellent basketball team. They're deep. They get after it. They play man-to-man defense, full court. They picked them up. They gave Wadena-Deer Creek fits. just as the game went on, and they were able to wear on them, and things Wadena-Deer Creek was able to handle in the first half of the game. Come the second half, just as the game wore down on them, Pelican Rapids was able to kind of take advantage there, and they end up getting a big win, 73-33, I believe that final score with the teams there. But for Wadena-Deer Creek, they're playing out of the stretch. They had Sam Church, who has been a nice player for them so far in the early going. He's going to miss some time with an injury. Coach Thunberg hopeful he'll be able to come back. Not going to miss the entire season is the hope. Obviously not that devastating, but enough to keep him out of commission for a little bit. So, and for Coach Thunberg, they wanted to figure out what they had in some other guys, and they had an opportunity to look at that. I thought Wadena-Deer Creek played great defense early, and just a team like Pelican Rapids just able, again, as the game goes on, their talent definitely just kind of can put their thumb on the scale of things, so to speak, and they had a big win. So that's pretty much it for Wadena-Deer Creek. They have a run of section games like we talked about on yesterday's show, so go back and listen to that. They're going to play Crookston on Saturday at Wadena-Deer Creek, 2:30 tip-off. For Pelican Rapids, this is going to be a really fun game Saturday, Corey. They go to Concordia-Moorhead, which will be, again, the site of the 6A championship game, I believe, and has historically been. And that is going to be against the defending 6A champion Henning Hornets with a 4:45 tip-off from Concordia-Moorhead on Saturday. So if you don't have anything to do, if you want your significant other to get the Christmas shopping done in Fargo, and you're like, I don't want to do that, go catch a really good basketball game, because that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good. Feature, one of the two of the top teams in the section, one of the top players, probably the top player in the section and the area this year, and with Kale. So go do that. You if we didn't have a family Christmas, I would that'd be something maybe I'd be doing.
Right, exactly. If I didn't have prior commitments, I would be driving to Fargo.
Right.
So that's it's a great game. So if you don't have any prior commitments, make that your commitment, and then tell people you have prior commitments to go watch the basketball game.
Right, that's right.
Corey, big shout out is the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. They're proud sponsors of the Morning Sports Desk podcast. At least we hope, but we are proud to talk about them every single day because they're awesome.
You know the drill. Get to the FunZone Arcade today, because it's Double Point Wednesdays. Every Wednesday through the end of the year, FunZone Rewards members can earn double rewards points on all online and in-store FunZone purchases up to $100. Purchases must be added to a FunZone card registered to your FunZone Rewards account. If you're not a FunZone Rewards member, hey, there's the code right there. Scan it. Become one and start earning double points right now. It's Double Points Wednesdays at the FunZone Arcade, the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in downtown Wadena.
All right, Corey. Not too many state sports things to talk about, but should be relevant. The Minnesota Twins did kind of finally make the announcement that we talked a little bit about yesterday, which was that there were going to be new minority owners within the Minnesota Twins and kind of the impacts of that. And we talked about that in yesterday's show, so we don't need to completely rehash that argument. Just go back and watch yesterday's show, listen to yesterday's show. We talk about it in detail about what it means for the team. The too long didn't read is the Pohlads are getting out of the big debt they have, but it doesn't necessarily mean the Twins are going to gear up to sign a $300 million contract anytime soon. But they did reveal the names of the minority owners who are joining the Pohlad ownership group. Again, Pohlads will be the prime owners still. They are still going to be the controlling owners. They still are going to make all the decisions, unfortunately. But some new faces, some new names are into the mix. Here was the press release from the Pohlads and the Minnesota Twins. They, including the principal investors, include Glick Family Investments and George G. Hicks, investing alongside several prominent Minnesota business leaders, Craig Leopold, who's majority owner and principal investor in Minnesota Sports and Entertainment, and also the Minnesota Wild. And here, those are the three different kind of groups that it came in this process. Obviously, Craig Leopold has the connections with the Minnesota Wild, the primary owner there. For Glick Family Investments, according to the press release, a multi-generational family office that takes a long-term value creation approach, whatever. It was reported by Dan Hayes of The Athletic that there's a group out of New York, a local group, and one other. Obviously, that sounds like the New York investment group there, because George G. Hicks is co-founder and co-executive chair of Varde Partners, global credit specialist, all that kind of fancy business stuff. But his connection is that he's a Minnesota native and former Cargill financial executive, and has some connections as he's a Gustavus Adolphus alum, a Minnesota Law School alum, and things like that. So those are the names. Again, does it really mean anything for your enjoyment of the Minnesota Twins in 2026? No, but that's just the update on just kind of piggybacking on what we talked about yesterday. And again, go Twins go, I guess. So
I love Jiminy Glick, so it's exciting to welcome him into the Twins.
Discount shoe store?
It's a beer, I think, isn't it?
Something like that. I'm very... It's the, that bit on Family Guy when Chris goes to the fancy boarding school and he meets all the people. And it's like, I'm Reginald G. Chapstick, heir to the Chapstick fortune. Yes, exactly. That exact bit. That's exactly what I think about anytime I hear a name. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. It's, whatever name of the,
yep.
Exactly. I am John C. Pizza Hut, heir to the Pizza Hut fortune.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, all right, one last thing, Corey, and then we're going to get out of here. Did you see that Cris Carter's kind of making some waves in Vikings world with his comments on JJ McCarthy?
I mean, that was the case a number of weeks ago, probably over a month ago. Is it happening again?
He was on the Up and Adams podcast with Kay Adams and a couple other places. Talking about JJ McCarthy and basically still just kind of in a little bit of state of disbelief still about JJ McCarthy because basically just saying he hasn't really proven anything. He's not on the McCarthy bandwagon. And here's a quote: "We have lowered our standards so much," unquote. So somebody who's obviously not, basically, I think there's a lot of hype in Vikings world about McCarthy. And he's like, oh, guys, I'm not, in the words of Denny Green, I'm not going to crown him just yet. And it kind of gets into a lot of different things. But overall, I think the gist of it is, Cris Carter's used to playing with quarterbacks that could get him the football, and the Vikings were leading the league in passing year after year after year when he played for them. And to see kind of how basic the Vikings have had to peel back the quarterback situation, he's not pleased. But also, it's not like he's in the building every day knowing things either. Cris Carter is allowed to have that opinion, and it's not that he's 100% wrong. It's also just, again, as a diplomat of the team, maybe just maybe word it a little bit softer, my guy.
Yeah, he's always been. I mean, he's been very vocal and strong in his media stuff. He's not been shy about saying what he does or does not believe. Just with some of his media stuff. Also, like you said, he's not. I don't know. Have you watched the Vikings this year? It's not like JJ's been awesome. Now, he's had a nice couple of weeks here, but I would say in general, it's not like a net positive experience so far for the Vikings and for him. So, like, I get it. I didn't hear what he said. I didn't hear it in context. I haven't, the quote, whatever. This is a weird thing, CJ, that I have for a long time in my life. Like, I just don't really care what anybody has to say about anything.
Right. Here's another quote from Carter, kind of piggybacking on that. "It's the first time in 40 years, maybe even 50 years, since the Vikings been playing inside, that they ever left the game satisfied after their quarterback threw for 150 yards. That's where we are the last 2 weeks. We have lowered our standards so much to accommodate him. At some point, the game will slow down, or at some point, he won't be that good. One of those two things is going to happen."
That's reasonable. That's a reasonable thing to say.
Yeah.
We've all been saying that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This is maybe it's a distinct lack of empathy on my part. I don't care what anybody else has to say about anything else. If it's in sports, if it's in politics, if it's in life, if that's what he wants to say, man, some of it's right, some of it's wrong. Let's just move on.
Right, exactly. And then, of course, he had some comments about some of the things we talked about yesterday with, obviously, his gritty and things like that into the end zone, which we talked about on yesterday's show. But again, to follow up, this is the first time during Justin Jefferson's career that they can attack the full field, says Carter. Ever since his rookie year in KOC's offense, they've been able to throw the ball and especially take deep shots down the field, especially off play action. You can see that he's starting to press. He's not putting up the numbers he's used to. Randy Moss had some of the same issues. He was so successful early in his career that when things got difficult, and they only got difficult with inconsistency at quarterback. So
yeah, fair. Those are fair things.
Yeah. I think two things can be true at once. One, you can kind of be like, all right, Chris, we get it. Like, you're not wrong, but like, he's a pretty big liaison of the team, whatever. Just doesn't need to be as aggressive of the critique. And also, I think Cris Carter's probably earned the right to be able to say that, like, it's not that he's saying anything that out of line, and there's some Vikings fans pearl clutching over some of this. And also, Cris Carter's an Ohio State guy. McCarthy's a Michigan man. So, interpret that what you will.
That means nothing. Here's what he is first. He is an all-time great Vikings receiver, and the people he defends and comes to the defense of first are all-time great Vikings receivers.
Right.
Carter has nothing bad and never had anything bad to say about Randy Moss, about Jake Reed, about Percy Harvin, about fill in the blank. He's been nothing but very gracious to all-time great Vikings receivers, and that is the case with Justin Jefferson. He was a receiver. He knows what it's like to go through not having a quarterback who can get you the ball. He's going to defend that. I have no problems with that. The only thing I would say is, does he not think JJ McCarthy thinks that too?
Right.
Does he not think Kevin O'Connell thinks that too? Like, it hasn't been what it's supposed to be, or what we hoped it would be, but that's been a part of this. We had to figure it out. That's what this year was figuring it out.
Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. See you.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.